Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie.
Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. For more information on how the CCIDA can assist your business, visit choosechq.com.
From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives.
Is getting vaccinated on your to-do list? We can help you check it off because we make getting vaccinated easy. You've got this because we've got you. To learn more, visit yougotthis.usaging.org.
From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chautauqua Sunrise. Hey, if you're first time visiting Chautauqua County, welcome. Perhaps you're staying at a cottage or just visiting for the weekend. We're here every Saturday morning as a rule, and we've been here going on 12 years, and we're glad you could join us. For those of you that are regulars, thanks for joining in. Whether you're watching us on Spectrum 1301 or if you're watching us live feed, streaming on our Facebook Live, wherever you are in the world, good morning. For those of you in Europe, good afternoon, I believe. Natalia over in Kiev, Ukraine, please be safe. We continually are monitoring that, all of us here in the United States. Please be careful. If James and the company are down in Kenya are watching, I know Karen will be there in the near future, and we hope to see you perhaps checking in with us. I'm glad that you could. Let's see. I want to say good afternoon to my listeners on WRFA 107.9, Low Power to the People in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. We have a great show in store for you today, and it's going to be good for your ears because those in Jamestown will be listening to the show, and it's going to be very musical today. So I hope you enjoy it as much as we're going to enjoy putting it together for you. Hey, throughout the show, we're live. Yeah, you can give us a call, and here it comes, 716-753-5225. Again, 716-753-5225, and that's if you want to call between 9 and 10. You may have a comment for my guest. You may want to tell him how wonderful he is and what a great musician or singer. You may have an announcement for your club or organization. It's free of charge. We're happy to do that. Throughout the week, if you're unable to call in, you can email me at Chautauqua Sunrise, all one word, okay, at gmail.com. And we will get your announcements on the air. It's important that you share your information because if you want a successful event or a fundraiser, you need to get the word out. A lot of people say, well, we'll just tell our friends. you can get on social media, but we really try to help you out with that. And you also go to our Facebook page at facebook.com and look at Chautauqua Sunrise. But do contact us. We're happy to do that. And sometimes we post things on our Facebook page, and we always encourage you to like it and leave us a note if you like. Okay? So, it's a rainy morning. We need the rain. I know some of you might be here vacationing. You say, no, this is lousy. There's lots of things to do in Chautauqua County right now, whether it's indoors or outdoors. There's a lot of good things, and we still have some summer left. Everybody says, oh, summer's over. No, it's not. We've got some nice weather ahead yet, and of course the falls around here are really, really nice as well. So if you go driving around Chautauqua County and look at people's ponds, they're down at least a foot or a foot and a half in most cases. So you might say, well, what's the big deal? That's a lot of water. And so I've noted on some of the weather stations that we're like right on the edge of a drought again this year. And that's significant, for our reservoirs and our wells and things like that. So the rain's important, and hopefully we don't get too much too long, but now and then, especially at night, is always good. So anyways, and the cool weather, it's kind of interesting. It went from 85 to 65, like somebody just flipped a switch. But if you're in the ag business, it helps the grapes around here. We still have a couple weeks before harvest, but I think we noted when we had folks here talking about the Grape Discovery Center, we were talking about grape harvesting and things like this. The cooler weather actually helps raise the sugar content of the grapes. So they'll be looking at that here probably 2.5 weeks out. Speaking of the grape harvest and so forth, just as a note, I always talk about this, and I'll be talking about this probably for the next month or so. If you're driving about, number one, watch out for the deer. They're definitely on the move. Number two, with the harvest season, you got people doing their work, their livelihood. They're coming in and out of the vineyards in the next couple of weeks, and you just got to be kind of aware that they're busy, and give them a little leeway, okay? They're bringing their tractors through. Sometimes they're out on the road going a little slow. They might be bringing in hay, all that sort of thing. We depend on our ag community, our farmers, to do so much for us here in Chautauqua County. So just be aware that that's going on. Apple picking is going on, grapes is coming up, and all kinds, pears, peaches, things like that. So give them a little room, okay? All right, I'm going to get to our announcements right off the bat because I want to give a lot of time for my guest because we have a lot to cover. So here we go. This is from Infinity, our good friends over in Jamestown. If you're not familiar with Infinity, they're a local organization that work with young folks, especially in so many areas, whether it's theater, music, art. You've seen them here on the show every Christmas time. They come over here and perform for us. We had a couple of young ladies when they performed here, and we did some music together and so on. So Infinity is really a great organization, and I encourage people to check them out. Part of Infinity is what they call a funding arm, and it's called Pearl City Clay House. Okay, so let me read what's going on. Pearl City Clay House invites the community to explore, create, and connect during its upcoming Clay and Play, a Pearl City Clay House open house on Saturday, September 13th, next week, beginning at 12 p.m. on 220 East 2nd Street in downtown Jamestown. This free event offers a fun and welcoming chance for visitors to experience the wide variety of classes, events, and walking opportunities offered at Pearl City Clay House. Guests can enjoy pottery wheel demonstrations. I'd like to see that. A display of completed class project samples from upcoming fall workshops, and opportunities to meet instructors, ask questions, and learn more about upcoming classes. This is free. In addition to the free demonstrations, our Paint Your Own Pottery Studio and Bucket projects are always available for purchase anytime that they're open. Enjoy self-guided painting and unique hand-building clay and contemporary craft experiences that come with everything you need to create a project on your own. Clay tools, instructions, and firing included. Complete them at Pearl City Clay House or take them home to complete on your own time. Visitors who register for a class in person during the event will receive exclusive one-day only discounts, and surprise giveaways and prizes will be handed out throughout the day for those who explore the space and participate. Okay, the Clay and Play event also coincides with the opening weekend of a brand new gallery exhibition called Shelf Life, Worthy of Forever. A heartfelt collection of favorite, forever cherished works created by the teaching artists and studio members of Pearl City Clayhouse. The public is invited to the opening reception on Friday, September 12th, so that's the day before, from 7 to 9 p.m. The exhibition will remain on display through October 31 and will be viewable during the regular studio hours and during the open house event on September 13th. Our goal with Clay and Play is to demystify the creative process and welcome people of all artistic and creative backgrounds into the studio, said Deb Eck, Program Director of Pearl City Clayhouse. Whether you're here to meet instructors, try a project, or just get inspired, there's something for everyone. Pearl City Clayhouse is a program of infinity and performing arts and serves as a vibrant hub for hands-on arts experiences in ceramics, book arts, fiber, contemporary crafts, and a whole lot more. The proceeds from this group support the youth art program at the Infinity Center. Okay, and for more information, you can call Infinity at 664-0991. 664-0991. Okay, Jeff, let's go to the next one. Slide 15, floral arrangements are going to be featured at the Reg Linné Center for the Arts Memory Cafe, and that's going to be on September 9th at 12 p.m. This is an interesting part of the Reg Linné where they have this memory cafe. So let's see what it's all about. Join Wild Blossom Hollows, Christy Muck, to create a magical arrangement using all of the flowers that are grown at Wild Blossom Hollow. Instructions, flowers, supplies, and a vessel will be all provided with lots of laughs and a chance to ask her all of your flower and garden questions. Now, listen to this. Memory Cafe at the Reg Linné Center for the Arts is a free respite in arts program for people with forgetfulness or other changes in their thinking, including cognitive decline, dementia, or Alzheimer's, as well as their care partner, family, or friends. We mention care partners all the time because we've got to remember with folks that have some of these issues, there's somebody in their life that's working with them, and they could use a little fun and a respite, in their daily life. Participants are welcome to enjoy music performances, crafts, and easy, appropriate activities to spark friendly social interaction. This is a great program. Light refreshments and sandwiches will be provided. All attendees can choose to participate or simply observe. Patrons are asked to register at the Reg Linné Memory Cafe ahead of time by emailing rsv@reglinné.com, or you can call the Reg box office at 484-7070, 484-7070, with the names and number of attendees. Suggested but not required donation of your choosing would support the Reg Linné Memory Cafe, payable by cash, check, or credit card, and so forth. Okay? So you enter the building through the Reg Linné awning entrance at 108 East 3rd Street next to the Art, Cloth, and Craft, and the Media Arts Studio is elevator accessible. The Memory Cafe program at the Reg is made possible by Exhale and its founders Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation and the Health Foundation for Western and Central New York. Awesome. Great. Okay, so check that out September 9th. All right, let's keep going. Caregiver class. We just mentioned caregivers. Alzheimer's Association and Chautauqua Aging Services invite you for a free class discussing how caregivers can learn how to use a person-centered approach to communicate more effectively at any stage of the disease. Dementia can affect communication, making it hard to convey wants and needs to others. Okay, where is it taking place? In Jamestown, at the Aging Office at 107 Institute Street, Suite 220. When is it? Coming up Wednesday, September 10th at 11 a.m. till noon. How do you register? Give them a call at 716-753-4582. And that's the New York Connects number, right, Jeff? Can you pop that up for us? 716, look at that magic, 753-4582. Give them a call and you can register for that. The Alzheimer's Association Chautauqua Aging Services invite you for this free class and how caregivers can learn how to use a person-centered approach. Okay, so give them a call and check it out. This is a growing issue in our community. Don't be ashamed by it. You see ads all the time for this on TV lately, and it's in our community, just like anything else. So if you're a caregiver and you want some help, check it out. Okay, some other things that are coming up from the Office for the Aging. Let's see, 9/11/25, Jamestown Legal Seminar, Power of Attorney, Health and Care Proxy Wills. The 23rd of September, a flu clinic, Dunkirk Senior Center, at Wegmans, and the Office for Aging Services from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's at the Dunkirk Center, Wegmans. Then on September 25, there's a flu clinic at Covenant Manor in Jamestown, Wegmans, and the Office for Aging Services at 10 a.m. to 12. Okay, this is important. And then on October 18th, you got the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and that's going to be once again at Point Gratiot Park in Dunkirk. And let's see, registration is 9 a.m. and they're going to start the walk at 10 a.m. So again, that's on October 18th. We're going to be talking more about that in the near future. All right, something to do. This is going to be fun. Listen to this one. This is mark your calendar. U.S. Air Force Band and Singing Sergeants. Now, why didn't I think of that name for a band? The Singing Sergeants come into Fredonia. Okay, this includes Fredonia alumni. Oh boy, here we go. Michael Eliello and Hillary Grobe. Fredonia will welcome the United States Air Force's concert band and singing sergeants as part of their fall tour on Wednesday, October 16th. Okay, October 16th at 7 p.m. at SUNY Fredonia, Rockefeller Arts Center. If you haven't been in there, it's really phenomenal. The acoustics are exceptional. This rare and exciting performance will feature stirring patriotic selections, a melody from Wicked, and their signature salute to America's veterans. The evening will also continue Rockefeller's proud tradition of presenting free concerts by the nation's premier military ensembles. Adding a special local connection, the singing sergeants also include, those two folks. Michael is a bass, real low, and Hillary is an alto, who return to perform with their fellow vocalists from the Air Force's official chorus. Stationed at Joint Base and Acostia Bowling in Washington, D.C., the singing sergeants are known for using music to build a cultural bridges and foster goodwill both at home and abroad. They are regularly featured at national music education conferences and represent some of the finest choral artistry in the country. All right, now let's keep going. Did you know that Chautauqua County is proud to recognize September, we just started it, as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, shining a light on the impact of pediatric cancer and the courageous children and families affected by this disease. Childhood cancer remains the leading cause of death, by disease among children in the United States. Every year, approximately 17,293 children, or 47 per day, are diagnosed with cancer. Let that sink in. With the average age of diagnosis being just 6 years old. Despite advances in medicine, 80% of these cases are diagnosed late, often with metastasis. The disease spreads, and only 6 new drugs, I can't say things Saturday morning, 6 new drugs have been developed specifically to treat pediatric cancers in the past 30 years. So obviously, diagnosed early is the best. The journey of treatment can be long and challenging, taking months or even years. Families face not only the physical and emotional toll on their children, but also financial hardships as they work to provide the best care possible. Local, state, and national organizations, including Callie's Crusade, play a vital role in providing educational, emotional, and financial support to families navigating this battle. So, P.J. Wendell, our county executive, and Martin J. Proctor officially proclaimed this month as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So please think about it, and if you know somebody that you are suspecting has some issues, get diagnosed early. Okay, we have one more slide to go, and then we're going to, or 2 more slides, I guess. Number 17, first annual West New York Writers Conference is coming up on October 11th, and we talked about this last week with Rick Mascaro. Okay, it's $79 for general admission, and if you're a member of Lakeshore Center for the Arts, it's only $59. And this is going to be really cool, and we'll be talking about it a little bit more. But think about that. If you're an aspiring writer, or even if you're, like a polished writer, you might want to check out the Writers Conference coming up October 11th from 8:30 to 6 p.m. And we'll talk more about that. Okay? And then number 18, I believe we're going to talk about this more next week, and that is the Grape and Wine Festival, and that's going to be held September 19th and 20th in Moore Park and the Grape Discovery Center. And along with that weekend is the Westfield Cemetery Tour, of which I will be portraying someone once again. And that's why I am growing out my beard, so that I look more like the individual that's going to be portrayed by me. So lots of things coming up. Stay tuned. We're going to have a little breather, and we'll be right back with my guest, who is anxiously waiting to tell you all about his project.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Froggies. I got a bunch of them in my house. All right. It is with great pleasure to introduce a fellow musician and songwriter, Tim Wright. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
You have been asked to come in and represent Lakeshore Center for the Arts and some projects you're working on, and we'll get to all that here shortly. So this is your first time with us here on the show, so we're going to be easy on you. How's that?
Okay.
As you can see,
I appreciate that.
I stumble through everything I do here, so you have the right to do the same. So Tim, we chatted briefly, and we're both from the Buffalo area, so tell me a little about yourself.
Grew up in Chautauqua, New York.
Unless you're from the other side of Buffalo, says Chicktawaga. My father,
I guess I haven't gone long enough.
my father would say Chicktawaga in the true way. I go, that's Chicktawaga in the through way, Dad.
Yeah, grew up there. My folks were there around right till they passed.
Mm-hmm.
Same house, same neighborhood.
Where'd you go to school?
Cleveland Hill High School.
Oh, Cleveland. Okay, I know where that is. Sure.
And then went to Fredonia for college.
What'd you do there?
Theater arts, and then I graduated with a theater arts degree and immediately started playing music for a living.
Why did you go into theater?
I think part of the reason I went for theater is my brother was a theater major there, and he went on to have a very successful theater career.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, but I think I followed him and then pursued it for that reason. But my love was music. My passion was always music.
What people say, well, you have passion for music, and I can tell you who inspired me, but who inspired you in music?
Well, in my early days, musical theater, and my introduction to guitar was the church folk group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really where I started playing, was in the church folk group. And I did some theater in my high school days, and I actually got involved with a touring company and did a tour of Godspell.
Oh, wow.
When I was pretty young, 16, 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I toured with Godspell, I toured with the Fantastics, and then, but I always went back to the guitar. It was always about the guitar.
You mentioned church. I can't say what percentage, but I would say the majority of musicians and singers that I know, that's where they started. I was 10 years old, and we had a Croatian choir master at our church, and he was auditioning young guys to sing in an all-boys choir. And I was just as nervous. I was probably throwing up, probably, knowing me, even before I went. And I auditioned, and I failed. I just miserably. I was just wrecked. And all my friends got in. I go, I can sing better than those guys. So somehow or another, I talked my way into a second audition, and I was much calmer because I knew what to expect. And I sang in that boys' choir for a number of years and went on to other choirs and learned a lot about music through choirs and singing. But it was church. And we always laugh. I started out as a first soprano and ended up being a baritone bass. My voice changed at 14, and it was crackling and stuff like that. But look at many of the soul singers. They were singing gospel, or the rockers were folk musicians that were, like you said, playing in their churches and things like that. So it's really interesting to see where we start. So it sounded like you were doing a lot of Broadway music stuff.
I did in my younger days. I still do play quite a bit of Broadway stuff. I mean, I really love that stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of different things.
Yeah. So let's move the Broadway out. What guitarists perhaps have inspired you or do you enjoy?
Well, as a kid, I was listening to the same thing everybody else was. John Denver and Harry Chapin and Cat Stevens, and those are the things I grew up with. But shortly thereafter, I got introduced to more progressive music like Kansas, and more pop rock like Styx and those kinds of bands. And those are big influences on me. Probably my biggest influence as a musician is Todd Rundgren. I've always been a huge Todd Rundgren fan. And if you don't know Todd except for his hits, explore that, because it's pretty amazing what the things he's done in his career.
It's interesting, the groups that you just rattled off, because they were the next wave for me. I would have to throw Jim Croce in there, because he didn't have that long of a career, but I mean, It was enough that I really like, oh my gosh, there's something about that sound. But I'm somewhat older, and we all started with the Beatles back in the 60s and things like that. But these guys all were stood on their shoulders. They took sounds from those guys and then brought in electronics and all kinds of other sounds. Or then you have the Cat Stevens. It was just a purist, I think, as far as guitar, and he had some piano and percussion in there, but he stayed pretty true. Of course, John Denver. I mean, gosh, he was a one of one. I mean, just beautiful stuff. And Chapin's still playing. No, his brother,
his
Tom.
brother.
I'm sorry, that was bad. Harry has left us, but he had that Cats in the Cradle, right? Is that his? And there's certain songs that just resonate with us still, even today. So that's an interesting group that Kansas, Dustin the Wind. I still do that as part of my repertoire. Very cool stuff. So when did you actually get serious about playing guitar out, or did you?
It was probably my late teens when I started playing clubs. And once I graduated from Fredonia, I went back to Buffalo, and I went on the road with a band for a while. Didn't do very well.
What band was that?
It was a combination of a Broadway show and a dance band. It was called the Ditch Lawrence Dance Band, and we were in Ohio for a little bit and didn't do real well. I ended up kind of crawling back to Buffalo. Wow. It wasn't a good situation.
Music is a tough business.
It is. But I came back to town and I got a job. I needed a job, so I took a job. A friend of mine was doing sound for the road, which Bob Campbell eventually ended up with the road.
Yeah.
And
I got a story for that. Go ahead.
I took a job with the road and was doing lights for them, and then their sound guy quit, and I took over sound, and ran sound for them for probably the year that I was putting together my own band. Okay. And it was a great experience. I learned so much from those guys.
Hold the road. We got a phone call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. It's Mike Felson from Portland.
Mike from Portland. Good morning. What's up?
Well, I started to hear the beginning of your show, and I heard you introduce your guest, Tim, and I have a couple things in common with him, as I do with you.
All right.
I too was born in Buffalo, and I lived in the city, but I had relatives that lived, and I still pronounce it Cheektowaga, but I heard you pronounce it Chicktawaga.
My dad used to, yeah.
But yeah, I have cousins that still live there, and an uncle and aunt that lived there their whole lives.
Yep.
Lived on a little side street off Union. And I also was an alumni of Fredonia State.
There we go.
Wow.
Now, unfortunately, that's going to be where the similarities end. My discipline was business and accounting, which I did get a job doing, and it worked out very well for me. It supported me till I retired, and probably in some ways still supported me. But I couldn't, I noticed the similarities, and I thought, well, at least there's at least one of Doc's fans also hail from that area.
There you go. All right.
Basically, I just wanted to say hello, share that tidbit, and
Well, thank you, Mike.
let you get on with the show.
Well, thanks for calling in, as always. Take care, Mike.
Bye.
Isn't that great?
That's great.
The road. Ready for my story?
Yes.
All right. So I told you I grew up in Buffalo on Greenfield Street. And there was this band called the Mellow Brick Road. Not the Road.
Yep.
It was the same band, but that's what they were called. And they were twin brothers, right?
Yep.
And they were phenomenal. They sounded like the Three Dog Night. That's why I used to compare them. So anyways, you might say, where is this all going? So living on this little side street in Buffalo, Greenfield Street. And one day I'm I don't know, cutting grass or whatever, and I hear this music. And I'm going like, and I'm just like an early young guitarist, maybe 14, 15. And so, like everybody else, you like the Pied Piper, you're being drawn into wherever this music is. So I go up the street on Greenfield, and in this back little apartment, I hear this music. It was the Mellowbrook Road. They had rented this apartment, and I don't know if they had it there for about a year, and every once in a while they would be there rehearsing. Unbelievable. And then they went on to be pretty famous, at least in the Eastern Seaboard. I don't know how far they went, but I know one of them, the brothers just passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
And the other brother, I guess, is around yet.
Yeah,
but,
Phil's still alive.
So amazing. That's a great connection. Then when Bob told me he had worked with them as a guitarist, I go, what?
Yeah, Bob worked with him after I left.
Yeah. So anyways, so cool. Look at all these connections here. The road. There was so much great music out of Buffalo, and I learned a lot of watching different guitarists up there and so on. All right, so you then were with the road, and then what happened?
I left the road. The guitar player for the road, Bobby LaBelle, started his own trio, and I went out and did sound for them for a little while. And then shortly thereafter, I went out with a band called Elliot, and we played together for years.
Was this rock and roll?
Yeah, straightforward rock and roll.
Cover band.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some originals, but it was mostly covers. And then from there, I did a stint with a band called Flashpoint. That was also covers, almost completely covers. And then I got hooked up with the Doolies, which was an acoustic trio out of Buffalo. Very much in the CSN-ish, I would say. A lot of political leaning, original material. Then I got tied up with them, played with them for a few years. And then started my own original band, playing strictly original music. And I was working, I had with a partner opened a recording studio and a music management company, and was working with a lot of original groups and a lot of songwriters. So that was my focus until I decided to get out and move south.
And we were talking before the show, music is a tough business to make a living. And people I've interviewed that do it for a living, they really have paid their dues. I mean, they slept on a lot of couches, and I've even heard stories 10,000 maniacs were selling their blood or whatever, in the early years. And I mean, that's dedication, and persistence. And there's ups and downs, and things like that. And so we've all had stories. And I remember one day with my band, they were all chomping at the bit. We need to go hit the road, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, everybody, let's rate the band. What, from A through D, what would you give yourselves? And they're, we're an A minus. And I go, I give us a C plus. And they all looked at me like I was crazy. I said, guys, let's be serious here. We're all going to leave our jobs and we all had kids, and we're going to hit the road. I don't think so. Don't give up the day job until you have enough savings to do it. Other people do, but So, then you went to Virginia, you said, right?
Yeah, I was in Virginia for a little over 20 years.
And you said you worked for the government. What'd you do there? Like spy?
Mostly on the IT side. I had just a little bit of background in IT, a couple jobs I had here in New York that gave me enough background to get my foot in the door down in Virginia. And worked IT. I started with the government shortly after 9/11, which it's crazy to me now that I started a job on Capitol Hill.
Oh my gosh.
Shortly after 9/11, but it didn't seem like, at the time, it didn't really bother me.
So you must have gotten some pretty good clearances to be there, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did real well there. It was great.
And so
but retired in 22, and then decided to come back to Chautauqua. My wife had family that had a cottage on Chautauqua Lake, and I had played so much in this area. You know, the Surf Club, Snug Harbor, the Melody Inn, Westfield, Carter's Yankee Rebel. We played all those places, and I just loved this area.
Right.
So when we decided to retire, we looked for a place here.
So you really have some good props here. I mean, you've got some real deep experience in the music world, obviously.
Yeah.
And in some cases, a lot deeper than my own, which isn't all that deep. But I mean, I call it the Willie Nelson effect. I just been around a long time. But obviously, you really have delved into all aspects of the business. And now you're doing something really interesting that's I don't know has ever taken place here in Chautauqua County. So let's talk about that a little bit. And then how about we play a couple, we'll do some music together, and then you're going to do your own song, right?
Yeah.
By yourself. So that's coming up, folks. Stay tuned. So tell us a little bit about the project you're working now at Lakeshore Center for the Arts.
So I guess it's probably a year and a half ago, I met with Tina Rausa, who's the president of Lakeshore. And she was interested in them doing some musical things. They weren't doing much music. They do a lot of art shows, they do a lot of theater. But she had mentioned to me that they'd like to do more music. And the Songwriters Circle had always been fascinating to me. It's something they do in Nashville at the Bluebird Cafe.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
And
that.
and I mean, they bring in bigger names than we're bringing into Lakeshore, but the whole concept of it, having 4 songwriters sharing their songs, telling stories about what inspired them to write it, and those kinds of things. So I went to Tina and I said, well, you used to have an open mic. I could do an open mic for you. And how about this Songwriters Circle idea? And she loved it. So we took it to the board, and the board was all for it, and we started it. I think it was last November we started it. And it's done really well. And, you know, our first season ran November through August, just this past August. And we featured 30 songwriters, 30 singer-songwriters, and 29 of them were from Western New York. We only had 1 from outside the area come in. And just really impressive performances and great audiences, really attentive, appreciative audiences. And it's just taken off. And if you've ever been to Lakeshore Center for the Arts, the theater is a very intimate space.
We just talked about that last week.
It's a perfect place to do this.
You're like all of 6 feet away from row 1.
Right, right. And it's just gone really well. I mean, even when we've had smaller audiences, it's just a great vibe in the space. And the songwriters and the audiences alike have all been really excited about it. So it's been great. It really has been great.
You mentioned 2 terms, open mic and Songwriters Circle. So I've hosted, open mics, and I got to tell you, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, that when you have an open mic, it's usually hosted at some restaurant or bar or whatever, and the musicians come in, and it could be any level of music, and it's a great opportunity for people to try out some songs or put their toe in the water to play publicly. And here's my beef. It has nothing to do with the musicians, it has to do with the venues. They don't even respect the musicians. I used to say, can you just give them a cup of coffee or throw them a sandwich or something? People come 50 miles to these open mics. So if you ever go to open mic, please pay attention and be respectful, because people are pouring their hearts out. And if you're a venue listening, be kinder. That's my political statement on open mics, because I've been to a number of them over the years, and people say, don't you want to go to a mic? I go, no. Songwriter Circle is all different.
Yeah, it is really different. First of all, you got songwriters that are playing their own songs, and we're bringing in established songwriters, songwriters with a history.
So are they from Chautauqua County or from Erie County, Buffalo?
Our first season was a little bit of everything. We had quite a few from Chautauqua, a lot from Buffalo.
Okay.
But this coming season we've reached out a little further.
Good.
And we're bringing in Western New York artists, Northern PA, Ohio,
Sweet.
and then we're bringing in some artists from out of town too. We've got songwriter from Massachusetts, Connecticut.
How are you getting hold of these people?
You know, Facebook's an amazing tool. You can find a lot of, as soon as you start looking, suddenly you start seeing more and more of what's out there.
So why would someone want to be part of this songwriters group?
Well, exposure for the most part, I think, is the big reason. And people are looking to expand their base, their audience. And I've got a guy that tours the country coming from Texas, and he's going to do Lakeshore. And this coming season's a little different. We're being sponsored by Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation. And we've changed the format just a little bit. We're going to feature 3 songwriters each month. We had been featuring 4.
That's a lot, yeah.
And every month we're bringing in someone from outside the area. So.
And that's so good because it's like bringing fresh blood into the area. And, sometimes, even when I listen to your music, I thought, this is different. This is a different sound. You have a different sound than I do. And then when you hear somebody else play something, go, how did they do that? And it's like a learning process, and it's enjoyment, and you just sit back and you appreciate each other. It's a respecting kind of a thing. Yeah,
the great thing about the Songwriters Circle is, as an audience member, if there's someone whose music you don't care for, they're playing a song and then you move on to the next songwriter.
Right.
So you don't have to. It's not like you have to sit there and listen to something that's not your cup of tea for an hour. Right. You're only hearing,
But also, it pushes your own listening field out further because sometimes you're just used to listening, John Denver or whatever, that style, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody doing something, tapping on their guitar or tapping or on their strings, or they're doing something totally different, and you got to kind of say, okay, I walk in here with an open mind a bit, and listen to it. We have some posters I think we can pop up. Jeff, let's pop those up before we even forget about those, and then we'll get to some music here. But let's see what we got here. So, what the heck am I looking at? Look at all those guys.
That's the whole year coming up.
Wow.
We typically run the 3rd Thursday of each month, but we've adjusted that a little bit. There's some dates that are not the 3rd Thursday, mostly so we're not competing with the Bills.
Right. Oh my gosh, yes.
So when the Bills are playing on Thursday, we've moved the Circle to Wednesday night. So our first show of the season is September 17th, I believe. I can't see that date from here.
Right, that's okay.
But I believe it's the 17th, and we're featuring Jane Sachs, who's from Ohio. I've been a big fan of hers for decades. A very established songwriter. Ben from Uncle Ben's Remedy.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
know
yep.
Uncle Ben's Remedy.
They're a wild group.
Very excited to have Ben playing our opening show. And then a young girl from Fredonia, or she's from Buffalo, but she's a Fredonia student. Her name is Maggie Schaefer. We had, and let's move on to the next poster. And I'll talk a little bit more about Maggie.
Here we go.
So this is our anniversary show. It's tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, we didn't want to compete with the Bills, so we're doing a matinee instead of tomorrow night. But Miranda Wilcox is a Fredonia student, and we brought her in last year, and she was just terrific. So in an effort to find another Fredonia student, I was able to find Maggie Schaefer, and we're really excited to have her.
And Mike Earhart, he's been on the show here.
Mike is great. Michael, Keith, and Miranda are all Chautauqua residents. Danny's a Buffalo boy.
Okay.
Danny's been around for decades as well. Great writer, great guy.
Great.
Should be a fun show.
Pretty much original music, right?
What's that?
Original music?
All original music. They're all playing their own songs.
Okay. And so do they get paid? How's that work? Anything?
Yes, we pay them. And the out-of-town artists we're putting up, I'll give a little plug to the YWCA.
Oh, sweet, yes.
In Westfield, we're putting up the out-of-town artists at their Airbnb.
That's perfect. It's right across the street.
Yeah. So we're trying to take care. We're not paying big bucks. So we're trying to help out the touring artists a little bit.
Musical fees here. And then you have to pay to get in, I'm assuming?
Yes, it's a $10 ticket. Well worth it.
Cheap. How long does the show go?
Usually a little over 2 hours. Each
$10
artist will play about 6 songs.
$5 an hour. A bargain. Okay, and these are, you're scheduled for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the whole year, right through to August.
Super, you are super. All right. So, anything else you want to say? There's a picture right there.
Oh yeah, this is one of the songwriter circles. So this is a setup. They all gather around a microphone, and they each play their own songs and tell a little story about them. And it's fascinating. It really is. And these four guys were amazing. All really very different. It's Chris Squire on the left, and Dee Adams, who's a terrific songwriter from Buffalo. This was a great show. I think this was, I want to say, maybe April or June.
Great. Okay, we got a phone call. So we're going to take a phone call, and we're going to play some music here. So if you want to start to get ready there. And caller, good morning.
Good morning, Doc and Tim. It's Sue Poster from
Hi, Sue.
Lakeshore
Hi,
Center
Sue.
for the Arts. I just wanted to stick in my 2 cents that we are so grateful as an organization to have Tim join us and to bring this fabulous production to our space. It's been wonderful.
Well, great.
That goes both ways. I'm appreciative of you guys giving me the opportunity.
Well, Tim's a great addition, and then to bring in the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation as well. It's been really good for all of us, and it's such a great night. We should be selling out. We should have people begging to get in. And so if anybody hasn't been yet and they're interested, tomorrow is a great time. We start at 1 o'clock. So hope to see people there.
All right, Sue. Well, thanks for calling in, and thank you for all the work you do at the Lakeshore Center for the Arts. I know you've been real busy with Rick and all those folks.
Yeah, we'll be up there today decorating for the Grape Festival.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Yep, bye-bye.
Okay. So we're finally to the point that is my favorite part, of course, is playing. And I daringly offered to play behind Tim, and so hopefully I won't mess you up too bad. But I'm pretty successful as a rule, and I really appreciate you letting me sing. And then you're going, or not sing, play. I'm not doing any singing today. And you're going to do another song after that in a little bit.
Sure.
Okay? So let's talk about what's the name of the song and tell us a little about what's the story behind it. Let's do a mini songwriter circle here.
Yes. This is called Ain't Such a Bad Place to Be, and it's really a song about putting your past behind you. I've kind of taken a different attitude towards it nowadays. I've always been a person that is all about checking the box, finishing when I need to do, check the box. So I'm looking at this song more as a embrace the moment kind of thing right now. It's funny how this song was written a couple decades ago, but they change meaning as time goes on.
100%. I've got a collection of songs I've written, and I call them my old friends, and you go back and say, I'm going to add a little different note in there, or a chord or whatever, and they're just part of your life.
Yeah.
And they're like your children.
Yes.
All right, so this is called Ain't Such a Bad Place to Be by Tim Wright.
1, 2, 3, 4. I got a couple of skeletons in my closet, few things left to hide. Done some things I'm not real proud of. Wonder to God how I'm still alive. Now I can see that you still got some regrets, scars of time that linger in your heart and mind. Won't let you rest, I know the feeling. Don't wear your heart on your sleeve. With all the chaos, if you had it to do over, you'd do it differently. Don't let some guilt ride you like a monkey on your back. You can't change what's already done. Put it behind you, and I'll leave it behind me. Throw away the past. Won't you raise your glass and drink a toast with me? In the great scheme of things, I'm rocking my pride here and now. This ain't such a bad place to be. Don't wear your heart on your sleeve with pocket losses. If you had it to do over, you do it differently. Let some hill ride you like a monkey on your back. You can't change what's already done. Put it behind you. I'll leave it behind me. Throw away the past. Won't you raise your glass and drink a toast with me? In the great scheme of things, talking about right here and now, this ain't such a bad place to be. Ain't such a bad place to be. This ain't such a bad place to be.
I kept up with you pretty good.
You did great.
Okay, so why don't you just hang right out of that guitar? And I know you wanted to do a solo song. I wanted to make sure we had time, and we do. So what's the background on this song?
This is the title track from a CD I released back in the early 2000s.
And you can find this on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Go to Tim Wright, and then you...
Or iTunes or Apple Music.
Well, I found it on YouTube, so that was easy.
I wrote this song for a friend of mine who I thought... I really wanted him to leave Western New York. I thought he would be very successful if he ventured out. So he never left. I left, but he didn't. So this is called Beyond Your Back Door.
Okay.
You're not looking for somewhere to go. This place fits you like those beat up old shoes that you're wearing. But a new place, a new start, the challenge of new seeds to sow. Seeds to grow might bring out your best when you're put to the test. If you're daring, don't you think it's time to open your eyes to a world that lies beyond your back door? Don't you think it's time to open your mind to a world that lies beyond your back door? Far be it from me to know what's best for you. This ride we're on, this ride we call life, it ain't gonna last forever. Some of us have venture out to get our due. Don't wait for some turn, some tragic event to make you say now or never. Don't you think it's time to open your eyes to a world that lies beyond your back door? Don't you think it's time to open your mind to a world that lies beyond your back door? Are you the big fish trapped in a little pond? Are you the princess waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her wand? Are you the ruler of an empire you no longer desire? Is the great unknown what you need to rekindle your creative fire? Don't you think it's time to open your eyes to a world that lies beyond your back door? Don't you think it's time to open your mind to a world that lies beyond your back door? Open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes to beyond your back door. Don't you think it's time to beyond your back door?
Oh, wonderful. You know, folks, you have no idea how difficult it is to be singing at 9:57 in the morning.
You got that right.
I start out as a bass singer, and then usually I get a little bit higher by the end of the day. Tim, that was wonderful. There was a line in there that really resonated with me as being a big fish in a small pond. So many people get real heady because they think they're really tough and cool until they leave their house and go beyond their back door, and then they learn about real life.
Yep.
And it stretches us. A lot of times it's scary, but sometimes that's how we grow. Tim, I know it seems hard to believe. We're down to a minute. So let's talk about Songwriters Circle one more time and just give us the information and times and places. So go ahead.
Lakeshore Center for the Arts is celebrating our 10th anniversary, and tomorrow is a special anniversary edition of the Songwriters Circle featuring Danny Lynn Wilson, Miranda Wilcox, Michael Gearholt, and Keith Medley. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Only $10. Come and see us. Then on the 17th, we open our new season of Songwriters Circle with Jane Sachs, Ben Westland, and Maggie Schaefer, and that's Wednesday, September 17th, 7:30. Also, only $10 a ticket. Tickets for both shows are available on our website, lakeshorecenterforthearts.com. And starting the 17th, we are sponsored, very excited to be sponsored by Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation.
And I know this is the last part we need to mention is, how do you get to the Lakeshore Center for the Arts? I know how to do it, but not everybody does.
It's the side door of the Presbyterian Church, and it's up 3 flights of stairs. When you get to the top of the stairs, the theater is right there. You can't miss it.
Across from the Patterson Library.
Correct. Across
on
from
Route 394.
the library. Correct, yes.
So check it out, folks. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My musical guest has been Tim Wright. And Tim, this has been absolutely like cheesecake for me, dessert. So this is great. So thanks for coming by and letting me play along with you today.
Thanks
that was
for
fun.
having me, and thanks for playing. That was
Absolutely, thank you. So folks, that's a wrap for another week. Check out all the good stuff in Chautauqua County, will you? Get off your couch, go out your back door. Learn all about what's going on. And we got some more things coming up next week we're going to be talking about here in the Westfield, Mayville, Chautauqua area. So stay tuned. Have a great weekend, and let's see, go Bills, eh? All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We'll just hang out here a minute.